That's right. This is what your right leg doesn't behave as well as your left leg does.
It's got a stronger mind.
Hey, pretty girl. Do you have any questions?
No.
No?
How to remember it all. Yes.
Okay. It
No,
looks.
it just takes time and practice.
Yes, it does. It really
Hours in the
does.
saddle.
And it takes somebody like me to constantly say,
Yeah, we
Okay.
should put a brace on it. So.
well, hey, you know, you have to pay your dues. And this is part of it. Now, when you get off of her, I want you to walk like this.
I think I might have when I was a kid, so I overcompensated growing up.
Yeah, well, it happens in the best of families. What can I say? This is the major thing that I see in this.
Right.
Especially when you pick up.
My whole riding life is my lower leg staying
Yes, yes. Okay, so this you have to concentrate on, and especially even with a small spur like this. If you do this, you're constantly gigging her with your spur. So it absolutely must. This big toe right at this big muscle.
Now, is there a preference for which side of the stirrup iron you place your foot?
Normally
inside or
it's to the inside, but that doesn't make any difference.
Okay.
It really doesn't. And you just got to. You're just too little. You have too little of a foot. And these are standard irons, but you know.
Well, yeah, I've never had a pair of irons that were not bigger than my foot. I mean,
Yeah.
really.
As long as the middle of your foot, the ball of your foot is on the stirrup iron, you're fine. And your toe exactly at this big muscle. This has to come off, because when you need to use it, she needs to be able to feel it. And if you're constantly on her with your heel,
Right.
it's going to make her numb.
Excited, yeah.
No, it'll simply make her numb to the cue,
Right.
and she won't respond. But much improved tonight. Cha-ching! And here again, the secret with your head and with leaning is that if you focus right between her ears, then the whole rest of you is right in line with her. Does that make sense?
Yeah, yeah.
And it will keep you from doing this, by and large, if you think about that. Okay,
Well,
so.
keeping my shoulder blades together helps.
Oh, Lordy, yes. Because when you're thinking about keeping your shoulder blades together, you can't do this.
Right.
Because obviously you're off kilter. And this is one of your bad habits.
Right.
Dropping one of your shoulders and bicycling. It's what I call bicycling, like if you were on a bicycle.
Yeah, yeah. Especially because I'm thinking, okay, I need to shift my weight over.
But it's only your weight. It's
Right.
only on your seat bone.
Yeah. So yeah.
Now, on your plane ride to Hawaii, I want you to sit on your hands and just practice that. And especially once you get in your hotel room and you don't have anything else to do, and even if you have to share a room with somebody that thinks you're a little crazy,
Yeah, it's okay. She's crazy too.
look in the mirror and watch yourself and make. It's kinetic energy. Do you understand that term? Kinetic is
Yeah.
motion.
Right.
And kinetic memory, movement memory, is the hardest of all memories to acquire. It's the reason why we as musicians have to practice and practice and practice and practice the same thing so that our fingers literally memorize it and we don't have to think about it.
Right.
And the same thing applies to riding or dancing or walking for that matter, and chewing gum at the same time, which a lot of people can't do. So you have to practice it. You absolutely have to practice it. Reviewing. The first thing is your head, right straight between her ears.
Right.
Let's go down your body, your shoulders together from your shoulder blades.
Okay.
Down farther, the arch out of your back. And the reason that you have to have that arch out of your back is because it will cause very severe back problems eventually. That's what's wrong with Buffy. And if you've got that arch in your back, you cannot use your back as a springboard. That's the cushioning, especially for the sitting trot. And of course, you can't move your hips all by themselves. Now, if you notice, it's like a hula dancer. I'm standing here absolutely straight, and I'm moving everything on the bottom, and nothing is happening up here.
Right.
You have to practice that. Okay, so we've done head, we've done shoulders, we've done
Lower back.
seat bones. We've already talked extensively about your sheet bones. And all the way down your thigh, this from your waist down has to be almost flaccid. You mustn't hold on with your thighs or your knees or your calf. And you, at the same time,
You have to keep the lower calf.
you have to keep it
Still.
from bouncing. You have to keep it
So
still.
what's the trick? There's no trick.
Practice is the trick. That's the trick. It has to stay still, just as when you pick up the reins and I tell you, watch your hands,
Yeah.
watch your lower leg. Check it constantly, especially when you're not doing anything except walking. Check yourself. Make sure that your lower leg is not sneaking forward, which will push you into the back of the saddle, by the way. Make sure that it's just right straight down and you cannot see your toe, and that your leg, does that hurt?
Well, it's not that it hurts, but it's tight
Because
or whatever. It doesn't do that on the other leg. My other leg doesn't twist out the same way.
I'm sorry. Well, neither does mine, actually. And my right leg being stronger, and I have seen this on myself and in videos, especially when I'm coming right straight forward at the camera, my right leg has a tendency to turn out-er and my heel more on her.
Right, like mine.
Yes.
Except I'm more exaggerated.
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
So you have to concentrate on this part, keeping it steady, and your toe right at that big muscle. Without doing this, without doing this.
Yeah.
Okay?
It's a lot, takes a lot less effort on the left side.
Well, that's because it's weaker.
So it stays better? if
It
it's
stays
weaker?
better because it is weaker, and it doesn't require as much strength to keep it where it's supposed to be. Does that make sense?
No.
Well, it should.
Well, it doesn't though, because it doesn't make sense. If it's weaker, then why does it take less energy to stay where it's supposed to?
Because it is weaker. When something is weaker, you can control it easier because it takes less strength to control.
Well, so if my right side was weak, then I would be able to control it better? That doesn't make sense.
Well, it does though, because if this is nice and loose, it's easy to control. And when it tightens up, it's not easy to control because it's stronger. There's more resistance there when it's stronger. And there's less resistance when it's weaker, which is why the right side is always harder to control, because it is stronger. And there's more resistance there because it is stronger.
Okay, that makes
now,
sense.
Okay? I finally made it. Okay, you've improved enormously just in this one session. Do you have any questions?
Yeah, how can I keep it?
As I say, I have an absolutely flawless position, and then the horse moves. So your homework is to practice this until you can do it. And the other thing that you have to be, you in particular, have to be careful about is this wiggle. And this is a nervous
Yeah, I'm sure.
whatever, You're wiggling right now, not nearly as much as when you started with me, because I've been after you about it. But you do have a tendency to just wiggle.
I have a hard time just staying still.
I do too. And I used to get scolded about it constantly when I was in grade school. Sit still, can't you sit still? No, I can't. I can't sit still. I have more energy than most people do, and it has to come out some way. Well, yours comes out this way. That's all right. I love you just the same.
Yeah.
Okay,
Okay. What do you think, Temp? Are you ready to go home?
that's enough for tonight. I'm reluctant to do anything more on that leg for today. I heard that sigh, Big Mare. Yeah, I heard that sigh. Yes, I did.
We're done.
Now, I want you to just walk forward and think about your legs. Just walk around once and think about your lower leg.
Except for the crows.
Toes.